Coming up on News Live at 6, why DPS is expanding their presence with a new substation on Marshall Street.
Plus, the CDC has dropped COVID-19 isolation guidelines, how it's affecting Syracuse students.
And a NFL star is giving back to his local community. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
You may have noticed it on your walk to Varsity or Orange Crate. DPS is setting up a brand new post. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Nicole Aponte.
And I'm Chilekasi, Adele. We begin tonight with that new addition to Marshall Street. And no, it's not about bagels again. DPS is opening a new substation on the corner of Marshall and South Krause Avenue. That's
where we find our reporter, Luke Radel, is there for us tonight. Luke, why is DPS expanding its footprint down there?
Yeah, Chile and Nicole, even though they might not be selling bagels, I'm sure they might like donuts. I don't know if that's a stereotype. But listen, Nicole, to your question, as a very wise man once said, follow the money. The university has been investing millions of dollars in and around Marshall Street, from buying Varsity Pizza to Fagan's right behind me. But Henry's going to show you their biggest investment of all, which is the $69.4 million that they spent on a luxury apartment complex formerly known as the Marshall, now referred to as 727 Krause Avenue. They're going to be converting those apartments, along with the Sheraton Hotel at the other end of Marshall Street, to sophomore housing at the beginning of the next academic year. And they say this new DPS substation will help them prepare for that. Let's take a look at what a DPS spokesperson had to say to Citrus TV News about this new investment. If we take a look at the statement right now, which should be coming up on your screen, they wrote, quote, "With the Sheraton Hotel and 727 Krause Avenue being converted into student housing, it is vital that DPS increases its footprint in the area to provide a visible presence to serve our students, faculty, and staff. Marshall Street is one of the highest traffic areas surrounding campus, and in addition to new student housing projects on the way, there are numerous restaurants, bars, and shops that bring many visitors and alumni to the area." So it's clear, guys, from that statement and from the investment made in and around Marshall Street, including this DPS substation, that SU sees the Marshall Street community as vital to their plans for the future.
And Luke, we talk about this in the grand scheme of things, in the broader conversation. What is the university's logic behind moving many of the underclassmen, particularly sophomores, into housing at the Marshall and other places like the Sheraton?
Yeah, it's certainly costly to transition these buildings, the Sheraton and the Marshall, which were not initially built to be student housing, over into housing for sophomores. But the university says they conducted a 3-year survey of students who experienced student housing life at the university, and they came to a conclusion that they don't like living on South. Now, I don't know if you really need a 3-year study to come up with that. You could ask some people who are living on South, in all honesty, but they say that they want to move more students, more underclassmen, to main campus so they have more access to resources like libraries, fitness centers, dining halls, and of course those classes, which are all right here on the main campus. But these new housing options will also have a lot more access to Marshall Street, which is why you're seeing investments like this DPS office behind me.
Luke, thanks so much. New details. The Setner School of Music is hosting its annual Prism concert later tonight. At Krause College, the Prism concert is a show that incorporates elements of lights and sound into its performance. It also features multiple students performing as well. The show starts at 8 o'clock and will also be live streamed at riverbendmedia.com.
And if you're still on campus tonight, the African Student Union is holding its first ever Afrobeats concert at SU, known as Afrocello. The Orange After Dark event will go from 8 to 11 tonight in the Goldstein Auditorium. The concert will celebrate popular music from West Africa. You can RSVP for the event on the Syracuse Calendar website. Valid SUID is required for entry.
Sounds like a great time. Hearing from people in the field you want to go into is always helpful. As our Matt Lesnick reports, there is one Newhouse and Falk professor who welcomes professionals into his classroom every single year.
Game's the melody. Do you feel the music?
Professor Dennis Denninger hosted his yearly sports broadcasting workshop in Newhouse this week. Denninger is a professor at Falk College who previously worked as a producer at ESPN. And for 1 week, he hosts 5 guest lecturers from the sports media business to come speak to students for 1 credit.
And what we're doing this week is we're bringing in professionals from 5 different categories, 5 different pursuits within broadcasting, and having them interact with the students. And I share some of my expertise and some of the things I've learned in teaching, along with what their real world experiences are. And it's been really fun.
Denninger first got involved when he himself was one of the guest speakers in 2000, and the program evolved as he was hired by the university as a professor. There were 5 total speakers, one of them being Jay Alter, a Newhouse alum and current ESPN play-by-play broadcaster. A former student of Denninger's, he wanted to relay some of his teachings, as well as some knowledge from his experience in the broadcast field.
And he taught me so much during my time here, and I just wanted to kind of pay that forward to the next generation. A lot has changed between what I learned and now what is kind of being practiced, so wanted to try and give them as much real-world experience as possible.
Even with his full-time teaching days coming to a close, Denninger still wants to keep the workshop going. He has a message he wants to get across to his students, and that is to be curious.
If you're curious about what's happening, wherever there's change, there's opportunity. But you won't know about the change unless you're curious.
Matt Lesnick, CitrusTV News.
All right, thank you, Matt. Taking a look now at our first check of the weather. Nicole, my goodness, it's been nice today.
It's spring.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy to think that last week, this time, the snow outside was absolutely insane?
It is hard to remember, not necessarily the fact that it's been a week, but the fact that there have been so many different places since then. Going from Kentucky, where it was like fine, then it was like here, but it's been a weird pattern.
Well, you know what? You know who knows more about the weather going on right outside our window right now is our weather anchor, Luke Welch. Hey, Luke.
Hey, Nicole and Chile. That sun that has been out today has honestly been beautiful, and honestly made me go grab these shades because of how sunny it was. If we're taking a look at our temperatures right now, we're sitting at a nice 50 degrees. We've been in those mid to low 50s all day. That sun has been shining and beautiful, and it's honestly pretty breezy outside, so it's not too warm. And if we take a look at these temperatures around the area, we can see we're pretty consistent around the region. We have some mid to high 50s lower in the state, but those mid to high 50s up in Rome, Fulton, and Syracuse. And if we take a look into tonight, we're only going to be dropping around to 41 degrees. However, that humidity is going to pick up, so it's going to feel a little bit more humid in the air. It's honestly a perfect way to end the week before spring break. I'll have more on tomorrow's weather and the rest of the week later in the show. Chile, Nicole, back to you.
All right, Luke, thank you so much. Well, it's been almost a year since the CDC declared that COVID is no longer a pandemic, and now the agency is dropping more restrictions. Citrus TV's Caitlin Campbell joins us now. KC, what's being loosened and what does it mean for us?
Good evening, Chile. Yeah, that's right. The CDC has dropped the 5-day isolation period for those who test positive for COVID-19. So those times of quarantining on South are over, but health officials and students share their thoughts on the new announcement. The CDC announced that those who test positive for COVID-19 no longer have to isolate for the 5-day period. After 4 years since the pandemic's beginning, restrictions are being eased to that of the flu.
The headlines and the limited messaging that we're getting about the change in the CDC guidance is a bit misleading because they're not saying, hey, the heck with isolation, we're not doing that anymore. They're no longer saying, here is our COVID-19 guidance. They're saying this is the guidance across the board for respiratory illnesses, focusing primarily on RSV, influenza, and COVID-19.
With the isolation being dropped, Syracuse University students have mixed feelings about the ongoing sickness.
I haven't really heard of them doing anything. I haven't really gotten any emails or anything like that, and I know that I'm not following any guidelines that they've put out because I just don't know of them.
While Syracuse is offering vaccines and testing at the Barnes Center, for some students it is not enough to fight the virus.
I think they're dealing with it. I think it's kind of just being brushed under the rug so we can try to return to as normal as possible, even though we are still in a pandemic. And there's really no precautions being taken. And I think we could all just be more considerate of those that have disabilities and health problems.
While masking is not, students are encouraged to still mask up and take caution if you are in class and feeling a little under the weather. Reporting in studio, I'm Caitlin Campbell. Guys, back to you.
KC, thanks so much. City officials are planning to build an 8-story apartment building near City Hall. The 72-unit complex will replace what's now a parking lot. 20% of the apartments will be classified as affordable housing, while the rest will be at the market rate. Mayor Welch's Chief Policy Officer Greg Lowe says the city is negotiating the sale of the parking lot on the corner of East Washington and Montgomery to add end to a contractor to start construction.
An update tonight. The man involved in last June's shooting at Destiny USA has turned himself in. Police allege 33-year-old Errol Morgan shot a victim in the neck with a 9mm pistol. The victim required surgery and suffered serious injuries. Morgan had an active arrest warrant for first-degree assault and second-degree criminal possession of a weapon.
The man found dead inside a house following a fire in Ansville, that's about an hour away from Syracuse, has been identified as 55-year-old firefighter Corey Michik, who lived in the house. A neighbor reported the fire after seeing smoke coming from that house. The house was engulfed in flames and firefighters arrived. Michik was a member of the fire department. As a volunteer, the department was part of the unit that responded to the fire in his home.
When we return, womp womp, it's a big breakup. The city attempting to control rowdy spring breakers. Next.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
You're watching Citrus TV News live at 6 with Chilekasi Adele, Nicole Aponte, and Luke Welch. Now, your campus news leader continues.
Breaking ground today, but the sky's the limit at the Syracuse Hancock International Airport. State and local lawmakers are celebrating a $20 million investment at the Syracuse Airport. A 4,700-foot expansion of the Northern Concourse is on the way, thanks to funding from Governor Kathy Hochul. State Senator Rachel May tells Citrus TV News the improvements you'll see should make the airport an even better experience as part of your travel.
Well, it should be less crowded, there should be more space and more gates, so that will mean they can have more flights as well, which is a great thing. I will also say this is a time when a lot of students or potential students are coming to look at our colleges and make their final decisions, and we want them to have the best experience they can have when they get here.
Hancock's executive director touted the airport's recent expansions, saying SYR has grown more than 2 times that of the rest of the country's airports.
Hey, we need to talk.
This isn't working anymore.
And it's not us, it's you. We just want different things.
Hey, speaking of flying, if you're headed down south to Florida this spring break, There is a break-up that no one saw coming. Miami Beach is breaking up with spring break. The city released this video earlier this month just ahead of spring break season, saying it doesn't want visitors.
Yeah, that is right. The city says in its campaign that spring breakers can expect curfews, bag checks, restricted beach access, DUI checkpoints, $100 parking, and strong police enforcement.
Well, this comes a year after Miami Beach had to declare a state of emergency following 2 deadly shootings during the break season last year. This had been the 3rd year in a row the city enacted emergency measures to control crowds. To Washington now, where President Joe Biden will deliver his State of the Union address later tonight. Biden is coming off a large turnout on Super Tuesday, moving him closer to a rematch with former President Donald Trump in November.
Now, Biden has had momentum throughout the primary season, but there are concerns from voters regarding issues such as the war in Gaza. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is bringing Syracuse's Van Robinson as his personal guest. Robinson was the first black president of the Syracuse Common Council. Over to Luke.
Chile and Nicole, you guys mentioned Miami earlier there, off your temperatures there, and other spring break hotspots coming up. Stay with us.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
It's 6:17 now. Let's get another check of that weather. Hey, Luke, so you talked about the spring break temperatures. What can we expect?
Well, if we take a look on your screen, I got a little poll of where everyone in the studio is going for spring break. Let's take a look there. We see New York City, it's going to be like mid-50s to low 60s. Montreal, it's going to be some low 70s. LA, it's going to be high 80s. Nashville, I know, Chile, you're headed up there.
Oh, yeah.
Down there soon enough. Miami, Marco Island. We see Punta Cana, Cancun, where our Caitlin Campbell is headed, and then of course Aruba, where I'm headed. Those are all going to be high 70s to low 80s. And if we take a look into our 5-day forecast here in Syracuse, it's going to be a little bit different. You know, we get that nice day on Friday of what we hoped for the end of the week before spring break, a high of 63 and a low of 42, and of course that sun is going to be back. So if you brought your sunglasses out like me today, you're going to want to bring them tomorrow. And we take a look at the rest of the week, we're seeing some scattered showers, some nastiness. We see the highs dropping from 50 to 40 to mid 30s with that rain and snow coming in. But you know what? It's not too much worry. If you're staying here for break, you're going to get a nice day on Tuesday and in the future Wednesday and Thursday with a high 40s, high 30s as well. But it's going to be sunny and it's going to be nicer. That's all I have for now. Chile, Nicole, back to you.
Luke, thanks so much. Buffalo Bills running back Latavius Murray is giving back to the community who helped raise him.
Yeah, Citrus TV reporter Cami Bremer joins us in studio now with that story. Cami, Latavius Murray, he's a Onondaga Central grad. How is he helping out now?
Thanks, guys. That's right. So Latavius Murray, known for being a running back on the Buffalo Bills, is giving back to his home city of Syracuse by starting the John Diaz Community Center. I had the chance to talk with Murray and get more insight on the project. The name behind the center holds a significant place in Murray's heart as it's dedicated to his late childhood friend, John Diaz.
It was a dream of both of ours to have a community center in the Nedrow area, somewhere close to home. Together, he and I would go to the inner city to go to the Boys and Girls Club and access youth sports and after school programs, all those kind of things. And so When he passed away, I just felt, the time and when I did, a few years ago of starting a foundation in his name and really, making an effort to make this thing happen.
According to Syracuse.com, construction was looking to start sometime this year. Despite there has been some unexpected setbacks, Murray is optimistic.
The hopes is that we could possibly put a shovel in the ground, maybe the end of 2024, early 2025. Look, I think like anything, you have a vision and you have, a hope going into, when you put your mind together, a dream, a project, and I'm learning that there's just there's a lot of things that go into that, and so we see that getting done, and we see this dream coming true, and so we're just going through the process and the steps that it takes to make sure it's done right and make sure we have the right people involved.
Murray's overall vision is to make a community center that will provide a safe and accessible space for the community's health and well-being. And we can't wait to see the next steps. More with sports is Sam Corcoran.
Well, Cam, you talk about Latavius Murray, a local legend here in Syracuse, and SU women's basketball trying to reach that status. The Orange get ready for the ACC quarterfinals in Greensboro. I'll tell you how the Cuse can etch their name in the Salt City history. Next on Sports.
Welcome to my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly, a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
ACC tournament time for Syracuse women's basketball, and the Orange have their eyes set on history. Welcome into sports, I'm Sam Corcoran. SU's 13 ACC wins places it in prime position to take home their first conference title ever. A key to that success this season, team chemistry. We've seen it all season long. The players continue to rally around ACC Coach of the Year Felicia Leggett-Jack, and she's embraced that camaraderie. It says it's her family versus their team.
So what we plan on doing is just kind of keep our head down, tend to the sheets, and lock horns with each other, and just really go in together. And wherever fight and battle that we have to face, we're going to love each other and not let each other down as much as we can.
Coach Jack mentioned was strong against both of SU's potential opponents tomorrow. In January, the Cuse dominated Wake Forest 77-65 behind 3 double-digit scores. 2 games later against Florida State, SU once trailed by 18, but then Deasia Fair took over. 31 points for the guard to lead SU to a 79-73 victory. The Orange were without center Isaverja the last time they played either of those teams, and unfortunately for SU, that will remain the same. The Brazilian did not travel with the team due to an illness. Nevertheless, the rest of SU suits up tomorrow for battle at 7:30. As for their opponent, the Seminoles and Demon Deacons meet today also at 7:30. Let's head to the turf where Syracuse men's lacrosse preps for a bitter foe on Saturday. SU battles Johns Hopkins in a top 10 bout, the first in this rivalry since 2016. But top 10 battles haven't fared well for the Orange so far in 2023. And the main issue, closing games. Against Maryland and Army, 2 oh-so-close chances, 2 responses from the opponent, leading to 2 overtime losses. It's not just the Terps and Black Knights that have given the Orange challenges recently. It's also the Blue Jays. In the Gary Gay era, the Cuse has lost to Hopkins both times. The chance to flip the script comes in the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, Saturday at 6:30. On the women's side, it hasn't been a smooth start for Syracuse women's women's lacrosse that many expected to see. The Orange are 3-3, its worst record through 6 games since 2011. A key reason for that, a lack of opportunities. The Cuse ranks last in the ACC in shots per game. That puts many of SU's offensive numbers towards the bottom of the conference. Goals, assists, shots on goal, you name it. Syracuse's next chance to boost the offense comes again in Blacksburg against Virginia Tech. The Hokies' defense has been a mixed bag so far. In BT's 5 wins, 10 or less goals allowed. But in the 2 losses, the Hokies have allowed 17 and 20 points respectively. Woof. The Cuse and Virginia Tech draw on Saturday at noon. And on the ice, the Sabres take on the Predators tonight at 8. Yesterday, Buffalo fell to Toronto 2-1 in overtime. It'll look to bounce back against the Nashville side that has won 8 of its last 9. Nicole and Chile.
Sam, thanks so much. After the break, we have one last look at your weather. When we wake up tomorrow, stick around.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Well, when you wake up tomorrow morning, it's going to be sunny, but a little chilly. So if you're heading for an early flight there at like 6 a.m., you might want to grab a jacket, but if you have class like me, you might be okay with getting away with a t-shirt and shorts. You know, it's honestly perfect weather to go play some basketball. Nicole, Chile?
Yeah, definitely. Hey, finally tonight, a lot of people are talking about this high school buzzer beater from New Jersey that wasn't. Watch this. So, Camden, the team in white, takes the lead after a free throw. It's 46-45 when Manasquan, the team in the dark-colored jerseys, goes the length of the court and Griffin Linstra hits a putback to win the game. Or so we think. The video clearly shows the shot going in before the horn sounds, but the refs convene and overturn the call.
Camden celebrates. Manasquan can't believe it. By the way, Camden now goes to the state championship game, but reports say that Manasquan's school board is considering legal action to put the game on hold. New Jersey's high school sports governing body says the refs made a mistake, but they can't overturn that result. Imagine being that person who made that shot, and it's the best moment of your life, you're like, state championships, and then it's overturned.
I think you feel like you need some more instant replay in these high school games, especially if you have the video sources.
You know what I gotta say? I'm not sorry. As a Haddon Heights native myself, I got you on the South Jersey right there. Go Camden, baby! Come on.
I mean, it's tough when you get screwed over by the referees. Just when that happens, it's gut-wrenching. Just as a fan, as a player, every more part of that.
I know. Some people said that Camden should forfeit, but it's such a tough
No,
situation.
they wouldn't do that.
No.
Well, we're going to try and successfully beat the buzzer before 6:30. That's our broadcast for this evening.
For more of the latest, you can follow us on X and Instagram at CitrusTV News. Now for the entire CitrusTV News team, I'm Nicole Aponte.
And I'm Chilekasi, Adele. Please hug those you love tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow.